Hey everyone, today we're going to do an overview of the NCL Encore. Let's go talk about it. Hi everyone, John here from Bite Size Cruises. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing an overview of the NCL Encore. I just got off the ship, which is unique because usually I do these overviews before I get on the ship, but today we're going to do it as I get back, which is going to give us a little more information than normally. So first things first, let's go through a little bit of a breakdown of the ship. This is a Breakaway Plus class ship. So if you've ever been on Norwegian Breakaway or Getaway, it is a similar layout, just bigger. So Breakaway has the Breakaway class with Breakaway and Getaway. The Breakaway Plus class is Escape, Joy, Bliss, and then Encore. So Encore is the newest of the Breakaway Plus class ships. And that's going to reflect a little bit in the overview when we talk about it. If you've been on any of the Breakaway Plus class ships, Encore and Bliss are decorated a little bit different. They're a little more modern, a little less bold, let's say, leaning more towards the newer Prima class with a little bit of muted colors. But I like the balance. I think the decor was really nice. It felt resort classy to me. So I found it to be very pleasing. I stayed in the studio lounge. I found that in the studio cabins, the studio lounge felt much nicer to me than the one on Escape. It felt less futuristic and more modern and clean. So I actually liked that a lot. But let's get into the ship. It was built in 2019. It is 169,000 gross tons. It handles 3,998 passengers at double occupancy, which means each room having 2 people in it. Now there are a lot of solo cabins, so you gotta affect it a little bit for that. And then there are a lot of rooms that could have 3 or 4, so that number could be a little higher or lower. The max occupancy could be about 4,200. The ship holds the traffic pretty well, not as well as like an Oasis class ship, but nothing felt overly crowded except for if it's like a rainy sea day. The indoor spaces will get a little bit crowded, but for the most part, things are pretty okay unless you go to things like right at the peak time. So like right when the buffet opens, it tends to be a little bit crowded. Right when a theater show opens the doors, there's a little bit of a line, but otherwise handles the traffic pretty well. It's 1,090 feet, 4 feet long. There are 1,700 crew on board from 65 different nationalities, which is amazing. There is a heavy Filipino influence. Cruise director's Filipino. A lot of the cruise director staff was Filipino, and as normal, Norwegian has a high Filipino staff ratio. Also, a big chunk of Indonesian. So it's always fun. We try to learn a little bit of their language to try to speak with them, which I love. So we're going to start giving it some hints and clues on some of those words as we go through. We might do Tagalog Tuesdays. Who knows? We'll see. So the highlights of the ship for me are deck 15. There's an observation deck, which is pretty much the whole front of deck 15. The sides of the observation lounge are really nice. They're very peaceful and quiet. They do have snacks there throughout the course of the day, in the morning, in the afternoon, and early evening. You can get coffee there and some juices and different things like that. Tea pretty much all day, all night. But otherwise, it's pretty mellow and calm, again, unless it's raining or something's going on. Obviously, if you were going to Alaska, the observation lounge would probably be way more crowded. I was watching Zach, the Traveling Man's video. He went to Alaska, and it was packed in there. People were saving chairs like they do on the pool deck. So that's a great tip because I didn't realize that. So otherwise, the very front of the ship is the observation lounge there on deck 15. And it's great. They have music in there in the evenings. There's a bar there. I like it better than the observation lounge on Joy. On Joy, there's a full Starbucks up there, and it really takes away part of the lounge. Starbucks is nice, but I like the larger, fuller observation lounge area. So really nice. Deck 6, 7, and 8 central place there in the middle of the ship is really kind of the focal point of the ship. Atrium, so to speak, of the ship. Even though there's an atrium a little bit further on deck 6 forward where they do a lot of the game shows. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that 6, 7, 8 place in the middle there is really the highlight of the ship. That's where a lot of the restaurants, the comedy club, the dance club, the casino, and a lot of the bars and lounges are. So on deck 6, you have the comedy club, you have Teppanyaki, which is your little hibachi restaurant, and you have Coco's, which is a little chocolate and coffee, additional charge. And then on deck 7, you have the casino right there. And on 8, you have the Sugarcane Mojito Bar and Ocean Blue, which is a really good seafood restaurant. So that's a good highlight. There are tons of specialty dining on this ship. There is Q Texas Smokehouse. You have Food Republic, which is like an Asian fusion that has sushi. Le Bistro, which is French. Cagney's, which is the traditional steakhouse. You have Onda, which is the Italian restaurant. Teppanyaki, of course, the little hibachi we talked about. Ocean Blue, the seafood restaurant. And Los Lobos, which is the Mexican restaurant. All of those are an additional charge. They're all fantastic. We'll do a full video coming up on specialty dining if that's your thing. If you only like included food, plenty of options there as well. You have the Garden Cafe, which is your buffet on board the ship. There are a couple little options out on the pool deck where you can get burgers and hot dogs during the day. And then the local is right above the atrium on deck 6 is the local on deck 7. That's kind of like your kind of at-home diner pub kind of place where they're going to have pretzel bites, chicken wings, hot dogs, hamburgers, fish and chips, all of that pub type food. That is open 24 hours a day. Pretty much there's a couple little switch over shifts. They also have breakfast there, which is a nice, relaxing sit-down breakfast that's quick. So you do have a 24-hour food option. You have plenty of included food. You could not pay for any specialty dining, and you would be totally fine. Taste and Savor are your main dining rooms. They're right across from each other. You can go there whenever you want. You can get a little beeper if it's crowded, and they'll call you. The Manhattan room is in the back of the ship on deck 7. That is your kind of additional main dining room as well. It's a little more of a fun space. And then the other real highlights for me for the ship is the racetrack on the very top of the ship. It's fun. It's not something I would do a bunch of times, but it's definitely fun to try once. It's $15. You have laser tag up there as well. Actually, laser tag's really fun. You can get the laser tag thing and shoot the cars on the racetrack, and it makes them go faster. It gives them a boost. That's fun. And then you have the Galaxy Pavilion, which I think is an enormous waste of space, but it's a virtual reality arcade with about 10 different virtual reality options in there. Half of them are usually broke. I don't love that space. I love Spice H2O. It's one of the only things I didn't like about Encore. I love the ship. I had a great cruise, but it is one of the things that I didn't love about it. I love that Spice H2O on the back of the ship, and they don't have that there. The other highlights for me are the amazing spa and thermal suite there, which is incredible. The Haven, if you enjoy a ship within a ship suite experience, they have an amazing Haven space. And then the studio cabins, which are cabins for solo cruisers, which NCL does a great job on. They also have solo ocean view, solo inside, solo balcony cabins. Amazing choices for solo cruisers where you don't pay the double supplement. Love that. And there's a little studio lounge where all of those people can hang out. There's snacks and coffee and tea in there all day. They have little meetups at 5:30 every evening where you can meet other solo travelers and coordinate events together. I love it. That's fantastic. And then the last but not least, my favorite thing on the whole ship is the Broadway musical Choir of Man. It is incredible. My favorite show on any cruise ship out there. This is an overview of the NCL Encore. I hope you loved it. If you have any questions about the Encore, please comment below. Also, we would love for you to subscribe to the channel. We are a small travel agency. We're trying to give you expert tips, some behind the scenes insider access here, and just come and be part of our amazing like-minded cruising individuals here. We have a great time. We put out a brand new video every single day. So come join us. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.